everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jess and I'm just coming in to add an introduction to this video because I seem to have never added an introduction. This vlog was filmed back in September of 2025, so this vlog is from quite a while ago, but I still wanted to share it because I have edited it. It's all been edited for a long time, and without further ado, I'll let you guys jump right on into this vlog.
I'm all ready to talk now because I've had half a bagel, so let's chat books. Like I said, I've started quite a few different ones because I read Nightshade and I gave it 5 stars and I loved it, and I also read A Dance of Lies not far before that and I gave A Dance of Lies 5 stars as well. Because of that, I'm just in a rut for like a really long time. So I started loads of books and I didn't finish any. Let's backtrack through what we've got going on. So on my Kindle, I recently started Zodiac Academy because my sister has read it and she really loved it. 17% of the way through Zodiac Academy, so I'm not very far through at all. I'm still uncertain on if I want to listen to the audio of this series and drive to work listening to it, or if I want to read it physically. A couple of other books that I'm really far through that I haven't continued for one reason or another. The Ashes and the Starkest King by Chris Broadbent. I just got a bit bored, but I'm 42% of the way through that. Blood and Steel by Helen Schuster. I am 38% of the way through. Then I also had 2 physical books at the same time. I had Accomplice to the Villain, which is by Hannah Nicole Morea, and I have loved this series. I think it's so funny, it's so witty, it's so like almost dry humour. It's really good. I always say like it's kind of almost quintessential British humour, and you kind of get used to them all speaking to each other in a bundle of lies, which is really interesting in my opinion. I do really love it. The ending of this book was very shocking. Now I gave this book 3 stars. Now the reason why is because this book was a whole lot of setup for what is going to be the final book in the series. Now the author did say at the end of this book that she hopes that it's the last book in the series. It's intended to be, but it could end up going on because she knows how she writes. I would say this book was just a whole lot of setup for the ending of the series, and I tend to enjoy those books a little bit less. There's a lot of travelling in here though, so if you're someone who enjoys the travelling aspects of fantasy, you would really enjoy this. For me, not so much. I also just hated particular characters that we had in this book. Around the time that I started Accomplice to the Villain, I also started Voidwalker by S.A. McLean. Now I am actually really enjoying this one. This is my Illumicrate exclusive edition of this book. That's why it looks very different to the original cover. 415 pages through. It's a 600-page book, so I am pretty close to the end now, but again I have just put it down for a little bit of a break. Now I think the reason that I put this one down is because I'm really enjoying it and I don't want it to be finished, and I'm a little bit like that with books. When I'm really thoroughly enjoying it, I don't want to put it down. I can sometimes get a bit anxious about finishing it because I'm just having such a good time reading it, and I'll never get to read it for the first time again because I am right at the point where everything's going, like all of their planning is about to come to fruition, and I'm just really worried about how that's gonna go, and I'm worried about there being a cliffhanger. I don't know if this book is part of a series or not. And then last night, because you know, doesn't matter that I've got 4 books on my Kindle and I've got Voidwalker to finish, I was like, I just want to start something kind of lighter and a little bit fluffier, just to have a bit of a break, because I have been reading a lot of fantasy, and I decided to pick up, I wanted something similar to like The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson, and I realised that I had a Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Howley on my TBR trolley. So I picked this up. I didn't get very far at all. I got to chapter 5, which is 46 pages in. Just kind of set the tone. She's very bad at managing her magic, but everybody knows that she has lots of magic, but she's really good at the nature side. But her mum is like really forceful, and I think that's going to be a very big theme in this book, is the psychological and emotional impact that her mother's words have on her. So I think that's going to be quite like an emotional part of the book. But so far it's very silly, it's very goofy, it's a little bit serious in places, and it was exactly what I needed last night. So we will see where I end up going after work today, whether I go to A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon, Voidwalker, or Zodiac Academy / something else on my Kindle. And then the other thing to update guys on is, I know I've been talking about listening to an audiobook on the way home. I am listening to A Court of Mist and Fury currently. I'm listening to the dramatised version of those books and I am loving them.
Hey guys, I am coming from my little reading nook and I'm ready to settle down and read, but I wanted to give you guys an update because I am almost finished with the A Court of Mist and Fury dramatized audiobook, and I do think I'm going to continue with A Court of Wings and Ruin because my friend is currently listening. Well, my friend is currently physically reading it with her partner, which makes me really excited to be like part of that conversation when I next see her. And then also because I really think I want to listen to a dramatized version of A Court of Silver Flames, and I don't know, now I'm like, I've started the reread, I may as well start again. Like, I may as well finish it off. And I think as well, for me, it's such a comfort read. I'm loving my reread. I have just under an hour left of the audio of A Court of Mist and Fury, so I think I'll probably be finishing it. If I don't finish tomorrow, I'll be finishing it on Thursday. I think tonight, whilst I'm curled up in my chair, I'm going to continue more of a Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. I'm hoping that this will be quite like a quick read for me to get through, so then it's kind of like cleansing my palette a little bit, and then I'm probably going to go back to Voidwalker and finish that off. Good morning. Put you in my mug cupboard because that's probably the best like head high angle. I got 100 pages into A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon yesterday night, which was nowhere near as much as I expected. I'm actually finding my phone like such a distraction, and I sat in my chair and I wanted to read, and then I doom scrolled for literally an hour and a half, and then I maybe read for like 30 minutes in bed after that hour and a half of doom scrolling, so I was kind of annoyed at myself. So I think tonight we're going to try and do a bit better than that and actually read something, and I might just set my screen time really down because sitting there for an hour and a half scrolling did not make me feel better. Like, it just made me feel wired. I am enjoying it so far. There's a lot of like weird familial dynamics going on, and it's very interesting because they both have to do different things that they don't want to do in order to prove themselves in very different ways. And I do think that's really interesting because their two kind of needs really like clash. They're like complete opposites to each other in terms of what they have to do. And it's very interesting because this demon has a human soul. A warlock or wizard tricked him into making a deal with him, and then he ended up having a soul in his demon form, which normally they don't care about the deals that they're making, so it's easier to do his job of soul collecting and reaping when he obviously has no feelings for the people. I do find them very interesting. I think they have a very funny dynamic. I think they're constantly taking the piss out of each other, which is hilarious to me. And I love his reaction because he thinks that he is like the scariest person, that everyone should treat demons a certain way, and she is just breaking all of those molds. And then for some reason, when he's got to explain himself to her family and friends, he literally says to them that he's her boyfriend too, just to cover up. And he doesn't know why he's following her method of like explaining his presence to everybody else, but he just is. Got a very interesting family dynamic for her with her mum. She's a bit pushy, a little bit overbearing, and honestly quite like, she tears her daughter down all the time, and it's kind of sad. Good morning. Oh my god, I'm gonna puppy there for today. Oh my god, I started the audiobook for A Court of Wings and Ruin, and I was loving it last night. Honestly, I think I forgot how good the start of A Court of Wings and Ruin was because I remember the middle feeling a little long. I don't know what I don't actually think I remember exactly what I found a little bit long. I think when I first read the series, I was just genuinely missing so many of the characters that I really kind of struggled with A Court of Wings and Ruin because there wasn't all of those people present. So yeah, I'm very much enjoying it. I think I'm actually listening to it on the way to work today as well as on the way home because I'm really enjoying it. Okay guys, update time, it's Saturday. I have had such a nice relaxing day. I have finished not one, but 2 books. I am in a very big reading mood and I want to start something else today also. But I finished A Witch's Guide to Dictating a Demon, and this was exactly what I needed. Something light, something fluffy, but also that had some deeper elements, and it had a touch of plot but not too much plot. I think I just really needed something that was a little bit more refreshing, a little bit different to what I tend to reach for, which is normally fantasy or fantasy romance. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 3.25 stars. It was exactly what I needed at the time. I do actually want to pick up some of the other books in this series. To be honest, I did actually really enjoy it. It's probably one of the romance books that I have enjoyed the most this year. I feel like I've kind of gone a little bit off of romance books recently, and I'm really not reading a lot of them in the past like 3 or 4 months, so most of this year. And then because I was on an absolute roll, and like I said, I'm in a massive reading mood today, I finished the last 140 or 50 pages of Voidwalker by S.A. McLean, and I think I'm going to give it like 4.5, 4.75 stars. I have a clip of me crying over this book. I love a book that there is pain and there is real problems. Now the reason why it's not a 5-star read is because there's a constant character in this book that has so much hatred, and although I can understand the hatred, I also don't understand it as well, if that makes any sense. And I felt like the hatred was just always so strong in every scene, bar the last one that we had with them. I guess it was one of these things where they just never actually properly talked to each other. They were too busy trying to kill each other, which is fine. But in terms of what they were to each other and what they are at the beginning of this book to each other when they first see each other again, it's complex as to why they made that choice to not. I definitely loved this book, and I actually much preferred it to The Phoenix Keeper by the same author, and I definitely think if she continues to produce writing like this and books like this, that I will definitely be one of her, like she will be one of my like authors that I will insta buy from. I did indeed just Google it. It's the first book in a duology. Excuse the fact that I am out of breath. Kind of humbling. I didn't get to start reading anything yesterday because we literally were out and I did like 3 hours worth of driving, so I didn't get to read anything because I was driving with my partner. We ended up listening to Sabrina Carpenter's new album. I think I am going to start the Hurricane Wars next. I'm so excited for this book, and I've heard so many good things about it. I've heard that it's a Star Wars like fanfic is how it originated, and I'm very excited to see my thoughts and feelings on this book next. Now, if I don't start this next, I will be starting the book that I brought yesterday next, which is one of my most highly anticipated releases of this whole year. This is Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross, and they have some gorgeous stenciled edges and sprayed edges, and the inside art is beautiful. Hardcover has a quote as well. It relates in the same world as her other books, which if you didn't know, Rebecca Ross wrote the Divine Rivals duology, and this book basically is set before that duology in the same kind of world, but it follows the gods. Hey guys, it is Tuesday evening. Oh my goodness, another week, I know. I have just taken the time to mark myself through where I am in A Court of Wings and Runes. So I've been listening to the dramatized audio on my commute to work, and I actually finished the first part because this book is broken into 3 parts. I am currently 354 pages through, which you guys can see is a pretty significant way through. I think I'm almost halfway through. Last night, I started The Hurricane Wars as my physical read. Now, I decided to read this because it is older on my physical TBR, and it was also the first one that I started reading. Now, it drops you straight into the action. You have so much to kind of work around. I wouldn't say that the writing is very descriptive, therefore you really do have to fill in the gaps a little bit with your own imagination. I'm very glad that I have watched the first 3 Star Wars films, the originals, because it's really helped with the way that I'm visualizing all of these things that are going on that are not very well described, like the formation of the ship that she's flying, and the ship that she's flying is not really described, in my opinion, clear enough to have a picture of it. But I feel like because I've seen something similar in movie media that it's really helped me to build an image. It's not the same as Star Wars, but it's definitely helped me build an image of what it looks like. It's very different to anything that I've read recently. I will say that I am not rereading the back of the book at this moment in time, but I can already tell you from like one sentence that this has not happened yet. And I personally think if it doesn't happen in the first 50 to 100 pages, it shouldn't be in a synopsis. So I will say I think the synopsis over describes the book.
Morning, guys. I am so congested. I woke up ridiculously early because I couldn't breathe. So I decided to get out of bed and go and sit in my room. Well, actually, I decided to stay in bed and see if I could fall asleep. And when I woke up literally 5 minutes later, I was like, this is not worth it. And I did have my book next to me, but I decided that instead I was going to pick up my Kindle. And I have started Wild Side by Elsie Silver. Now, I haven't been in an Elsie Silver book mood for a while, but I just picked up yesterday when I was doing some grief health therapy the new book in this series, and I found out that it's on Kindle Unlimited. The whole series is on Kindle Unlimited at the moment. I am 176 pages through, so I'm kind of reaching the 200 page mark. I think I'm going to go outside and sit in the garden for a bit, do some reading with a cup of tea, kind of feel the fresh air on my face to help me feel less rough. Good morning, guys. I'm still super congested. It's actually Tuesday. I did film yesterday a little clip, but I decided not to keep it in because honestly, I sounded even worse than I sound now. On Sunday, I was so ill. I got to spend some really nice time with my family on the Saturday, and we actually got a Indian takeout. It was very nice. Which I'm eating as leftovers for my lunch. So that's my lunch all sorted pretty much. So on Sunday, I kind of decided that because I knew I was going to go in for the new work week, that I was just going to relax and let myself chill out. Now, in that time, I actually read 2 whole books in that one day. I think I read for 10 hours. They were both Elsie Silver books, actually. And I believe I'm now up to date with Elsie Silver's backlist now. I ended up reading Wild Side by Elsie Silver. Now, this looks brand new because I actually found out these are on Kindle Unlimited. I absolutely love this. I gave it 4.75 stars. It wasn't quite 5-star material, but I genuinely really loved this, and their relationship is sticking with me. I just loved it all. I really thought he was great. I thought she was great. I wish we had more of the child though. I thought they had great chemistry. I thought the relationships were really good in here. I know some people said this doesn't read like a normal Elsie Silver because it has a lot more significant focus on grief, and some people have said that it's like a little bit deeper than what they were wanting from her books because she obviously normally provides that kind of Western, nothing too heavy romance, and I would say there is more on like grief, you know, and struggling to transition from grief. I do think this book touched on the mental health, but I feel like it could have gone further than what it did. Personally, I wish I saw a little bit more of the sister grieving, because she does grieve, but she's so busy covering up her grief with being busy. I loved the cameos like from other couples in the series and other series that she's written. I really enjoyed the cameo of the dad's bowling night. I just loved it so much. Then I also read, like literally I had like maybe a 2-hour nap, let's be honest. And then I read Wild Card, and I liked this book as well. I genuinely do like Elsie Silver, and I have enjoyed, I think, every book of hers that I have read. So I don't think I was anticipating not liking it. I do think, however, I was a little bit more excited possibly for Wild Card, but I didn't love it as much as I thought I was going to love it. It's ex-boyfriend's dad, a romance, but they didn't really, the ex-boyfriend part, they didn't, from the way that I read it anyway, they didn't really have a relationship, like as in her and her ex. They were more like, I'm trying to find this in PG words, they were more like, just together for intimacy, and they weren't really in a relationship. But the ex invited her to his birthday party just to show off that he had a girlfriend, if that makes any sense. But she, in her own mind, she says that they were more like just intimacy partners and didn't really talk other than that. So she wasn't really classifying herself as his girlfriend anyway. Prior to that, she had met Bash, who actually ends up to be the ex-boyfriend's dad, in the airport, and they had a great time together, and he took down her number, but they hadn't spoken to each other in 8 months, and then that's when he comes to the party.
that is his son that he never knew about, party, and then sees her and obviously is fuming. Now, I think what I found really hard about this is that, in my opinion, there was no relationship between the ex-boyfriend, aka the dad's child. There was no real relationship there between our female character and the ex. And then the whole point is that he doesn't want to ruin this bonding relationship that he's starting to grow with the child that he never knew he had. And that's the whole reason why they can't be together. And it just got a bit exhausting because, as a reader's perspective, it didn't seem like the boyfriend, like his son, had any type of real relationship with her, but he was still like, oh no, you're the ex, da da. And then when the son came around to the place, he was like then acting like he wanted her back, and like for all the wrong reasons, and he was just really arsehole-y. I don't know, it just felt really weird that he was suddenly obsessed with her after not talking to her for months and months and months, like at all. Like the ex hadn't reached out to her at all, and then all of a sudden he sees her in his dad's house and he's like, oh, you know, she's the one that got away, da 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 da. I don't know, I found it all just very much like make-believe. Like, it was hard to believe that that was going to be the storyline, and I personally think the storyline would have been somewhat better if it was just to do with their own beings, I guess, their own consciences, instead of having the son be part of the story personally. And I gave Wildcard 3 stars. I did like it. Like I said, I literally read it in one sitting, so I obviously didn't dislike it, but I didn't love it. And there was also so much time jumping in this book, like so much time jumping. Like, one instance, it's like bashes in the sky, and then the next he's on the floor, and I'm like, how are you just flying over the top and now you're magically on the floor to meet her? Like, I was like, I don't understand that. It's just very odd. The time stamping, like, it's not even time stamped, but like the timing is so weird, like so weird in this book, in my opinion. There's so many like cuts. It's almost like there was stuff there and it's just been cut out by the editor, but it's not been smoothed back over. Obviously, I'm not an editor, I'm not an author, so I'm just speaking from a reader's perspective. It feels very like choppy, and maybe could have done with a little bit more blending in places, in my opinion. I'm still listening to A Court of Wings and Ruin on my commute to work, and I think I've got 2 hours left of the audiobook. So I've got 2 hours left of the audiobook, so I think I'll be done maybe by the end of this week.